Hey, what's going on, guys? Minuteman Preparedness here. Look, I planned on doing a different video today, but with this current information coming out, which we're getting ready to talk about real quick, I thought it was imperative to go ahead and get this information out to you all if you hadn't heard of it yet. So, obviously, we've been seeing everything that's going on over in California with the riots. It's not a protest, that's not peaceable assembly as stated in the Constitution. That is pure anarchy and rioting and lawlessness. We'll just go ahead and I'll give you my opinion on that because that's exactly what it is: lawlessness and anarchy. And of course, there's a bunch of people wrapped up with Antifa in there. And we've dealt with that stuff before. We know how they're funded. We know where a lot of this money's coming from. And yet nobody, the higher ups, the government level, is doing anything about it. So it's happening again. Well, there are several more of these protests, smaller protests going all over the U.S., but the topic right here is there are mass protests planned for the 14th of this week, Saturday of this week, the 14th. And I'm going to put the link for this in the bio for the video so you all can pull it up and check for yourself and check the map. But this is a group called No Kings. And I'm going to just read a little bit here for you. It says, in America, we don't have kings. Well, obviously, we don't have a monarchy in the United States. So we all know that. It says right here, we've defined our courts, deported Americans. No. Disappeared people off the streets, made arrest, and attacked our civil rights. No. And slashed our services. Yes, it's called cleaning up the funding, cleaning up the budget, cleaning house. The corruption has gone too far. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. And so I've went through this website. They've got a big map here of the entire U.S. I'll put it in the bio, like I said, so you can pull it up to see if any of these protests are going to be in your area. It does state in their bio that they practice de-escalation, not to be violent, to be peaceable, but it does state that they will be, on courthouse steps, in parks, and things like that. I don't know a lot about this group. I've looked at some of the other groups in the past for similar situations. I hadn't heard of this group yet. I also went over and checked out their sponsors because I like to see, and with several of these other groups, I like to go on their page and see where they actually get their funding from. You won't be surprised whenever you look through this and take a look at their partnerships, and funding. You'll recognize some of the names and the images and whatnot. But I'll put that information in there so you all can check out that website to try to learn a little bit more about them. See if these protests are going to be in your area. Like I said, with another video I did that was dealing with a similar situation, if you can stay out of those areas where these situations are, advertised is going to be, then stay out of there. If you live in an area, that tends to have a lot of these activities, I'd pay attention. Maybe gather up some of my stuff and go to a relative's house for a weekend. Go to an Airbnb or somewhere like that where you have a pretty good idea some of this stuff isn't going to pop up. Now, this just isn't set, for large areas like LA and Washington, DC, Houston, Dallas, places like that. It could be small town America. It may only be, 5, 6 people, but you never know when people get bussed in. Like Antifa likes to do. They like to bust them in from all over the place to raise Cain. So you need to utilize situational awareness. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Kind of look for indicators. Look and see if you see, the bulk bags of rocks or bricks, pallets of those items that aren't typically laying around. But whenever these type of things occur, like over in California near the ICE detention facility, these items just start popping up. And nobody can seem to figure out where they come from. All of these cameras all over the place, and nobody can seem to figure out where this stuff is coming from. So utilize situational awareness, pay attention, go onto this site, check the map, and see if your city or, if you're close in proximity to that area, you want to avoid those areas. Stay away from them. The best way to keep yourself safe and your family and friends is to stay away from those areas. Don't even get near them. And if you live in that area, then I'd go ahead and tidy up, where I reside, make sure things are locked up, locked down. You have stuff put away that can't be used to vandalize your own property. If you got rocks or things like that, stuff sitting outside, I do my best to go ahead and try to secure that stuff now while you have a little bit of time before these protests pop off. Now, they may fizzle. They may be completely peaceable and abide by the law, and if that's so, yeah, I don't agree with them, but, you do have a right to peaceably protest. And as long as you keep it peaceable and you don't block the thoroughfares for vehicular traffic or the sidewalks for pedestrian traffic, and you're not damaging, property or starting fires or doing anything like that, if you're just out there peaceably assembled and protesting, that's 100% fine. That's your right. That's what our Constitution says, and that's great. A-OK. We all have the right to disagree with each other. But a lot of times, a lot of these situations don't tend to pan out that way. Like I said, I don't know a lot about this group. They may have a handle on things and keep things the way they say they're going to keep them. I don't know. But it's just best to play it safe. Don't go into those areas. Stay away from them. Don't go down there to see what's going on, because that's the best way to get wrapped up in a situation you don't want to be wrapped up in. So go ahead and tidy house, get your things together, pay attention, check out this site to see if you're on there. But with that, you all stay safe. Have a great day. And Minuteman is out.